What's up, everyone? We have another Asher knife here. And like I said, I'm doing kind of several days of Asher knives, just because I've got a bunch loaned in, and it's kind of an interesting brand to me. Having just watched a podcast with the owner, I get a better sense of what he's trying to do and where he's coming from than when I first had a knife in my first knife to check out. So, let's just talk about it. There's a bunch of different models. I'll link to their website down below. I will also link to my Asher playlist down below and to John Evans' YouTube channel for loaning a lot of these knives in to me. So they're all going to be kind of very similar with G10 scales, liner locks, access locks, frame locks, but they're all different and unique, but all similar, if that makes sense. So this is the Spiro liner lock. And I think I did a Spiro flipper already that Brandon Thrasher loaned me. And I'll put a link to his channel down below. That's what I like to do. When people loan me knives, I like to link their channel and give them some props because I appreciate the loan, and it takes a lot for somebody to say, sure, let me send you $200 or $300, $500 worth of knives, or $5,000 worth of knives, because I've had people send me expensive knives before. There's a level of trust there, and I take that responsibility to heart, and I don't take that lightly. So I like to give the credit where credit's due. So this is 4¼ inches closed, just a hair over 7¼ inches overall. A 3.08 blade and cutting edge, 0.017 behind the edge. S35 VN. All the Asher knives are S35 VN, sans the first one, which came out in D2. That's the classic model, which is one I do not have to show. So I don't know if I'm going to show every other model. I have to go look, make a list, and check it twice. But I am certainly not going to show the classic because I don't have one of those in. Unless somebody has one they would like to loan me, I could check that one out too. Just throwing it out there. Email me down below. The blade thickness is 0.089, overall thickness of 0.456. Runs on bearings as they all do. And it weighs in at 3.2 ounces. Just because it's on bearings does not mean it's going to guillotine drop shut, as you see. Every bearing knife runs differently. Okay, whether it's a $100-ish knife or a $2,000-ish knife, this is also on bearings. Okay, and a $280 knife, which is on bearings. So you get a different action with every knife. Here is a multi-$1,000 custom, also on bearings from Red Horse. All right, so you get my point. They all run on bearings. They all run differently on bearings, okay? Not everything's going to drop shut like a Grimsmo Norseman or a Holt Spectre, which is good because I don't really care for the drop shutting guillotine. I think it's silly. I don't understand it. It's dangerous. It can be dangerous, and I think it's just for show, kind of like the Spidey flick, middle finger flick, reverse flick, whatever the heck you want to call it, is dumb. Okay? But this guy is not dumb. This guy is $100-ish, and it's pretty sweet. G10, S35 VN, great stonewash on the blade if it focuses. A little bit of a branding there, which is totally fine. T8 hardware on the pivot. I believe that's T8 on everything else. It can be left or right-handed carry because the owner is left-handed. So he made sure that his knives could be carried left-hand. I think that's awesome. I think as a maker, you have the right to make something that you like, that works for you as an individual, and then make products for the masses. Kind of like having a YouTube channel. I think for me, when I started, it was to just not show off. That's not the right term, but to share all of the knives that I owned. Well, then that quickly ran out. I own a lot less knives than people think I do. So then I started having friends loan them in. Then I had strangers loaning them in. And now, well, you get a video every day, and I still talk about the knives that I like. I also do talk about the knives I don't like, because again, I think that's what I should do as a reviewer, is to be able to share the good and the bad of knives. Whether it's specific instances with a problem with this knife, or just the fact that, hey, this is just a junky knife and you know, buyer beware type of a thing. That's not this knife. That's just in general. That's a general term. But all in all, the Asher knives are really growing on me in that budget line. So let's do some size comparisons here. It feels really good in the hand. Here it is with the Sharpie and the pencil. Yeah, this knife feels really good in the hand. It's small. It's delicate-ish size. But because the handle is thicker, a little bit beefier, it does not feel like a small knife. It feels like an average knife. Okay, here it is with the AA and a D-cell battery. I consider the Hellraiser more of a bigger knife. I mean, it's not a huge knife, but it is larger knife. So I would call this a large knife and a medium knife, I guess. You know, I don't know. If I want to go budget again, here is the Kubi KB237. I think still one of my favorite budget knives, especially for the price. This is sub 50. This is around 100. Both G10. Flipper versus thumb stud. Both liner locks. Both sort of deep carry pocket clips. D2 and S35. So you're spending about $50 more for S35. I'm not saying that that's good or bad, but that's just kind of where you're at for this comparison. Also on bearings. So all in all, I think the Asher knives are cool. Please go check out the playlist I will link below, and come back tomorrow for some more cool stuff. Thanks a lot, guys.